Guess what? If you're someone that needs to be buzzed all the time, I challenge you to experience what it is to be blissed out. Instead of buzzed out, be blissed. Blissed out, that's that sober life. That's doing life on life's terms, right? When you truly get high on life, right? Maybe you're wasted on nature. Maybe it's just the endorphin rushes from exercise. Maybe it's the energy and the focus from eating healthy, from lending a hand and helping someone else out versus just sitting there sidelined, buzzed out, because there's an uncomfortable state of being that you can't do without some sort of a distortion in who you are. And I'm telling you this from the bottom of my heart because I was that guy. I was the guy that said, I have an addictive personality. Anybody ever heard of that? Addictive personality. I didn't have an addictive personality. I just had a lot of unhealed trauma, unhealed emotional wounds. Can you relate to that? Do you even understand what I'm talking about when I say that? And because of the trauma, because of the emotional wounds, I needed something to give me that pain relief. So I quickly learned what it was to self-medicate. And over the course of many years, that self-medication became addiction, just full-blown addiction, being addicted, codependent. And I've been codependent on, just about everything. I've used so many things to try and give me a sense of relief, a sense of feeling good. Because I guess underneath the surface, I was miserable. Are you miserable right now? How do you feel, honestly? A checkup from the neck up. Comment down below. How do you feel right now? How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about your life? How do you feel about your body? How do you feel about your relationships? How do you feel about your job? Right? How do you feel? And those can all be different categories, but then in totality, like, what is your general consensus? Do you feel pretty good? Are you okay? Are you miserable? Do you hate your life? Or do you feel wonderful? Do you feel fabulous? When's the last time you walked up to somebody and they're like, I'm wonderful, right? That's a great feeling. And it's good to even just tell yourself that, even if your circumstances aren't ideal. But one of the things that I've realized, and it's come through some conversation in the last few days, and it's been a part of my journey, it's just that, I feel that so much of what I've experienced along 12 years of sobriety, 12 years of different types of therapies, 12 years of doing the emotional heavy lifting to try and heal and reprogram who I am, who I show up in this world as, right? Which is not an easy process. And I don't think there's real books on it. I mean, there are some people, but I think it's very few. And yet, I'm grateful that I get to be somebody to really create this dialogue, show the way. It's an honor that you're checking in and tuning in to this message, that it's resonating with you, because your time is now. It's time to truly sit there and start to give yourself permission to do life on life's terms, to quit running to the escape routes on how you really feel. This is what it all boils down to. How do you really feel? Be authentic. Be real with yourself. You could bullshit all the others, everyone else in your life, by wearing the masks and faking the funk. But you need to stop doing that with yourself. That was a huge awakening for me. is when I finally said, I'm done bullshitting myself and I'm done bullshitting others. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to be honest. And that's not an easy thing. I'm someone that learned that, I programmed myself to be manipulative. And I had to manipulate myself. I had to manipulate reality. And a lot of that is just flat out just lying. And I used to use this saying, tell me if you relate to this, comment down below, right? It's not telling them what they need to hear, it's telling them what they want to hear. That sounds like a politician, right? I tried that too. But I'm retired from that. As hard as it is, I have to tell the truth. It doesn't sit right with me when I lie. And I learned, lying was a survival technique from an early age because there was always consequences. Whatever it is, I remember as a little kid, probably just not understanding life and understanding emotions, but, I had a mischievous energy about me. And I would do things, and maybe it was for attention, maybe I was feeling like a burden, maybe it was the only way I knew how to get attention, and it's something I'm still unpacking. But I do know that I learned very on that sometimes I would do stuff, right, that was not good. It's bad, it was mischievous, it was just bad. And it would get me in a lot of hot water, get me in trouble. And I learned to start lying about it, when put on the spot. Hey, did you do that? No, I didn't do it. And even though the person knew I was lying, I would just still try and do my best to really hold that poker face and say, yeah, bold-faced lies. It was terrible. And unfortunately, that led to me programming myself to lie to myself about a lot of things. Lie to myself about how I really feel. Lie to myself about who I really am and what I truly love and what I truly want in life, what I truly desire, what I deserve, right? Lie to myself about what would really make me happy. And a lot of times, I would find myself in situations that I was there because I was afraid of the unknown. Do you relate to any of this? Is it time to start getting honest with yourself? To start really cleansing yourself of all the masks, all the lies, all the deception that you've put out there. And what I'm starting to work on right now is, as I fully integrate my shadow self, right? All the things all the versions of me that have brought about shame, guilt, regret, embarrassment. I'm learning how to grieve those versions of myself. And grief is not an easy process. If you know somebody that's carrying around a lot of grief, they may not even know that they're in a state of grief. Why? Because what is the first stage of grief? It's denial. So we're like literally already deceiving ourselves through grief. We're deceiving the reality that something has happened and we're not willing to accept it. And thus we are emotionally attaching ourselves to the lie. We're like, no, I won't accept that. No, it's not true. It's not happening. And it's like that then starts to create cycles and patterns within us. And a lot of that is survival. It's a survival mode. We're afraid. At the end of the day, we're just afraid. We're afraid of our own mortality. We're afraid of the truth. We're afraid of uncertainty. We're afraid of things, and a lot of it is because of misinformation. We're too tuned in to what everything else is what all this stuff is being told. It is the most freeing thing when you literally tune out all the noise. I challenge you to start tuning out all the media, all the news, all the happenings. Could you do it for a month, 2 months, 6 months? And then literally in that 6 months, you're just working on yourself, cultivating a better relationship with yourself, a more authentic, true relationship with yourself and with God. That's the other piece, is that spirituality. It's knowing that there is a God. I believe that with all my heart. And you can fill in however you want that to be, but I do believe that there is Creator. And I've talked about it recently, that you can challenge, you can actually test God. God wants you to test. And what do I mean by that? I mean that literally, if you're willing to test God, you can ask God, God, I want to know if you're real. Send me a sign. Give me confirmation of your realness, and then put something out there. Put something out there that just seems like it would be literally miraculous for it to happen, or for you to see that thing. An example I would put is, an example that you could put out there is, you see all this snow behind me, right? There's all this snow. If you were to ask God, God, I want to know if you're real, and you really meditate on it, I want to see a butterfly, a yellow and black butterfly, or an orange and black butterfly. I want to see that. The two things you can't do is put a timeline on it. Don't put a timeline. Don't say, I need to see it in the next 5 minutes. And then you also have to open yourself up to seeing it in a mysterious way. It's winter right now, and I've literally had miracles happen where literally the butterfly appears. And it's like, wait, it's snowy. It's a winter wonderland. Where did this little butterfly come from? And it like, whoa. But then there's other times where I'm driving around and it's like, winter wonderland. And next thing you know, a car pulls in front of me and they have this huge butterfly sticker. And it's like, that's confirmation too. Because again, you have to be very specific, but also open yourself up to the mysterious. That is really the thing that so many of us struggle with, and it's that uncertainty. It's the mysteriousness of this whole life in general. It's what is life in general? What are we doing here? What's your purpose? Why are you here? Why am I here? And it's incredible how much psychological, mental, and emotional suffering is happening on this planet right now that we literally create within our own beings. You've created your suffering. You've created your misery. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that you just haven't been honest with yourself, and you haven't been open to truly just sitting with who you are, validating your own feelings, validating your own emotions. And it is the difference between finding what it is to be blissed out, to get those natural highs, the endorphins, versus using substances or anything on the external to somehow get you high, get you up, have you in an altered state of being that won't last. And even the natural highs don't last, but once you realize the difference between being buzzed and being blissed, it's like a game changer. You realize what is superior. You realize deep down in your heart what you truly seek. And it is to have a state of bliss. It is to truly feel whole and complete, to feel worthy, to feel that you can do life on life's terms. And that everything else, all the self-medicating habits and patterns and behaviors and activities that you have been incorporating into your existence are all detrimental to you. It literally lowers your vibration. It lowers your mood. It lowers your self-confidence. It lowers your self-esteem. It lowers your self-worth. There's no way that you're going to feel valuable and at your highest potential continuing to sit back, cheering on other people as they succeed, cheering on other people as they win. That you're going to feel your best self constantly needing to get high, to get drunk, right? To check out, zone out, versus fully checking in. And it's that check in from the neck up, checking in with yourself daily, setting intentions. How do you really feel about yourself? And know that it's okay to feel like shit. It's not pretending. You don't have to pretend, oh, let me pretend I feel good. No, it's okay to sit there. And this is really the biggest point where you can grow, is when you are able to actually sit with yourself and feel what it is to feel sad, miserable, unloved, unworthy, not good enough, overwhelmed, afraid, depressed, anxious, nervous. When you can actually sit there with those uncomfortable emotional states of being and kind of learn how to self-soothe. It's literally pausing, checking in with yourself, say, and giving, like, it's learning your emotional flavors. Every emotion is a little different, right? There's a little bit of a difference between feeling nervous and feeling overwhelmed. Feeling scared and feeling unloved. It's a little different, and it shows up slightly different within parts of your body. And this takes a level of conscientiousness that a lot of people, I don't think, are willing to embrace. You think you're doing life, you think that you're alive, but you're really just existing. If you can't sit there with yourself for 2 minutes, and just be like, oh man, do some breath work, in through the nose, out through the mouth, hold at the top, and just kind of be like, have that dialogue with yourself. How am I feeling? I'm overwhelmed right now. Okay, let's be overwhelmed. Let's be a little nervous right now. Whatever it is. Where's this coming from? Well, you got this going on and that going on. Okay. It's going to be okay. And then you start doing some self-talk, some positive self-talk. Be that super dad, be that super mom, be that, coach or that mentor that you admire for yourself. Be your own best friend to say, we can do this. It's safe right now. We're safe. It's not ideal, but we're safe. And we're also good enough to get through this. And a lot of times, it's going to take support. It's going to take some professional medical help if you do have these traumatic and emotional wounds. And this stuff isn't just from last week or yesterday. This is from your childhood, feeling unsafe as a child. When you were most vulnerable, something happened in your life that if you felt unsafe, if you felt like you were a burden, man, that messes us up, major. And it continues to play itself out in adult life. And that's why so many of us have to turn to the things on the external. It's even a part of the programming, I believe. This externalization of everything happens from the very beginning of life. We're codependent on our caregivers. Then we have to start submitting to authorities and teachers and getting rankings and becoming competitive with other pupils. And we learn about everyone else's history, but we never get to learn about ourselves. And that just leaves us feeling less and less internalized and more externalized, and then we become super codependent on everything else around the world around us. And we run to things and we're willing to self-sacrifice ourselves because we've never really had a chance and an opportunity to create a relationship with ourselves. Have you created a relationship? What is your relationship with yourself? Just ask yourself that. If you were to really look at the relationship you have with your inner self, do you have a positive relationship? Is it a healthy relationship, or is it a toxic relationship? Are you totally fucking yourself over every single day, self-sabotaging, self-medicating, negative thinking with no impulse control? What would it take for you to gain more impulse control, be more disciplined, to have something greater that you have to work towards and that you have to earn and prove to yourself so that you can build your self-confidence? And it takes small steps every single day. You're not going to just wave a magic wand and instantly everything is fixed. It takes a lot of intention, and it takes getting knocked down along the way and having that being okay to fail, to get back up, dust off, and keep going. And that's a big part of what I'm trying to cultivate here with Results Kill Excuses, is to create a community of people that are open and eager to become the best version of themselves, and to having open dialogues, not all this shame, right? I'm all about positive masculinity, right? Positive femininity, understanding that we have a balance within us. But there's a lot of the culture out there that's like, just lift weights, or just get rich, right? Or just ignore the shit that's going on inside. And it's like, how many people that are rich and famous or ripped, and they're miserable? They lack self-control. They lack impulse control. And it's because I truly believe that we have to start inwards. Your internal state of being is what is going to set you up for sustained success along this journey called life. That as you improve the relationship you have with yourself, guess what? You're going to improve the relationship you have with everyone else. Truly taking care of yourself, as I just saw 2222. How do you take care of yourself? Are you willing to start improving on the care that you give yourself? Truly loving yourself unconditionally. Loving yourself in a way that you truly want to be loved. And understanding that you can grieve the fact that there is a version of you that you're ashamed of. There's a version of you that there's a lot of guilt. And a lot of us, it's like we don't want to have that funeral. We can't say goodbye because we feel like that's abandonment. And it's like, no, the whole process of this life is to evolve. It is to grow. It is to shed these old skins. And it's not easy. And it does take grieving. And the grieving process is fivefold: denial, anger, depression, bargaining, depression, and then you get to acceptance. The grief process is full of opportunities for you to relapse, because you'll go in and out of the first four, which is the denial, the anger, bargaining, and depression. You'll go in and out of those four for your entire life. You'll never actually put acceptance on the wall. Full acceptance. Fully being okay with the fact that you have made some mistakes. You have failed in this life. And accepting that and being at peace with that. But also knowing that that's not who you are. That right here, right now, you can choose to be a totally different version of yourself. And guess what? That's not a lie. That's not deceptive if it's coming from the inside. You pretending to be somebody else to impress others, that's where it's manipulation. That's where we are deceptive. because at the root of who we are, we want acceptance. We want to feel like we belong somewhere. But y'all know when you're being fake as fuck. Y'all know it. And y'all know that there's a big part of you that if you were real, if you were truly ready to do the shadow work and to accept the dark parts of who you are, that you're afraid that you're going to be rejected, you're not going to be accepted, and that you're going to be left all alone. And here's the thing. You may go through a lonely season, but as long as you continue to cultivate the authenticity and your truth as to who you truly are, you're also going to become magnetic. Because as you start to stand and center yourself on your truth, who you truly are, no masks, life on life's terms, you're going to become magnetic and attractive to people that genuinely accept you. And there are so many people out there that it's like you're only afraid because you're going to probably lose some people that are in your current social circle. But those relationships, if you're honest with yourself, they're probably rooted in a lot of shallow bullshit. They're things that you're not allowing yourself to outgrow. So then you keep that relationship because, who wants to feel like they're alone? Who wants to feel like they're not good enough? But a lot of people will go their entire life just playing that game, seeking that external validation versus really validating yourself, getting to your truth. What do you want? What do you want? What are your gifts? Right? Can you give yourself that freedom? Can you give yourself permission to grieve the fact that you've been the person you've needed to be up until this point, and that if you truly want to expand and transcend into a higher version of yourself, you have to let go of this person. And that's not abandonment. That is a part of the evolution. And I am cheering for you. I'm encouraging you. Comment down below, share your story. Let's have these conversations right here, right now. I've always said this. The greatest gift is life. The second greatest gift is connection. And right here, I'm being authentic, and I want to give you the space and the platform to do the same. So thank you so much to everybody that's been listening, all the encouragement, and just knowing that, again, real attracts real, like attracts like. We can truly build this community of like-minded people that are ready to get real, do life on life's terms, becoming the best version of themselves. Where we're not competing against each other, we're just competing against ourselves. And all I want to do today is be a little better than who I was yesterday. And I'm challenging you to join me on that journey. And if you're looking for something to start investing your time into, it starts with self-discovery. It actually starts with ending your self-destructive habits. And then you start to self-discover. Discover what it is that was causing the self-destruction, what it is that you truly want to become, and then you start to develop into your self-mastery, which is truly just trusting yourself again, believing in yourself, knowing that you're good enough. You're good enough to have good things happen to you. Even if you've had a bad streak or a losing hand, guess what? You got all the wins in your back pocket. You got all the cards. Pick your winning hand. Right now is the time for your success. Your winning streak starts here and now. I love you guys. Keep tuning in. Share the message. Like the message. And type in those 3 magic words. Results kill excuses into your app store. Download the app. Jump on to one of the 5 courses that's available, knowing that there's much, much more content coming. And I look forward to seeing you in the app community soon. I love you guys. You know the drill. Results kill excuses. Because if it was easy, it won't be worth it. Greg's out.